Now, in studio this morning, we have a guest, and the conversation that we're going to be having is around mature politics in Kenya, and if indeed we are having mature politics in Kenya. We have Alfred Makotsi. He's a youth leader and political analyst. Alfred, a very good morning to you, and welcome to Radio Generation.
Morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. How is your Friday going so far?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
I think we thank God I woke up healthy, despite the Nairobi cold.
Is it that cold though?
Not very.
Yeah.
But it's still cold.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
You found us in the previous hour before we went for the break. We were just talking about something that former Prime Minister Raila Odinga said. Now, he has said that MCAs are the ones who should be having the oversight role and not the senators. And he has gone ahead to tell governors to actually snub senators in case of a summon. What do you think about that statement?
I think to be fair, I think old age comes with challenges. That's what I would say.
Okay.
I'm a very ardent follower of Raila Odinga right from when I understood politics, let's say maybe in primary school. And of late, I think his sentiments have disappointed me in one way or another.
All right.
In the ideal sense, the MCAs are supposed to oversight the governors, and that is provided in the Constitution of Kenya, 2010. But also in the ideal sense, the Senate has the oversight mandate that it's supposed to conduct.
Yeah.
In fact, it is the Senate that oversees even the county assemblies and the governors. So it is very wrong for Raila to say that governors should snub Senate
Summons.
Senate summons. Some of the most progressive oversight has come from Senate. We've had governors being questioned, being impeached objectively. Somebody like Kawira and other Sonko have come to
Waititu.
Yes, and the good thing about Senate is it is mature in some sense. What we would see as politics of the local politics of the sub-tribe or sub-clan, when it comes to Senate now, it's above board. You have to provide
proper evidence
and documentation when questions are asked. So I think we cannot downplay the role of Senate in oversight, especially in the counties. Yes.
And, maybe you are thinking like, maybe do you think they need to be added morals or something?
Senate?
Yes.
No. I think Senate as it is constituted is perfectly put in the pedestal of oversight, representation and legislation of devolved units. I was privileged to work with Senator Malala when he was senator and deputy minority leader, and the conversations, the bills, the questions you get to Senate are purely about devolution. Even the voting, purely about division of revenue, how resources are distributed. And when a senator stands up to speak about his county or defend another county, it is purely based on facts. So if we add them other roles, it means we are taking those roles from maybe National Assembly and bringing them to Senate,
right.
Which I think a National Assembly should step up. Yeah. The different institutions should just step up.
Still on matters, Baba, there's this committee that they appointed together with the president. I think it will be chaired by Gabriel Uguda to ensure that they deliver on the 10-point agenda, and they'll be giving quarterly updates as to the progress of that delivery. Number, what's your feeling as far as the 10-point agenda is concerned? Stroke NADCo.
I'm afraid to say that it is a stab on the back of Kenyans. The whole NADCo negotiations, whether it was headed by Kalonzo or Kimani Ichung'wah, whatever, it is a back on the Kenyans who long fought for the 2010 constitution. It is high time that we be serious about the implementation of the 2010 constitution before we talk about any other thing, be it BBI, be it NADCo. That is my feeling. I think we are not conscious enough of the struggles people went through to get the 2010 constitution onto the table. So the different conversations and the different initiatives should just feed in to the 2010 constitution, not change it to let's say, change the body of the constitution, like introduction of the prime minister and what have you. Yes.
Okay, I think so far I would want to understand, because when you look at the elections that we've been doing in our country and what comes after elections, most of the time, like we have elected a leader, and then of course the disputes on the elections, the outcome, and then later on tunapata government of coalition or something. So I just want to understand, we want your insight on, are we still a toddlers of democracy or what?
Yes, I agree with you. We are still toddlers of democracy. Democracy as an idea, I don't know how old it is, but you can date it back to the Greeks, philosopher Socrates, Plato. So we as Africans, we've just started practicing democracy even less than 100 years ago, when now we got our independence, and the Britons, the French people, Portuguese were telling, this is how you guys should rule yourselves. And now we had the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, whatever. So in a democracy, in as much as it is winner take it all,
yes,
in the Kenyan context, we should accept it. We should accept that, Trisha, you are elected and you are given a mandate of 4 years or 5 years, and you are given space to perform.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the opposition should be in a way that it opposes, not to bring down the government, but give alternative ideas that even the government of the day can consider. So in the Kenyan context, we don't understand the intrigues that come with democracy and winner take it all. And that is why after every election, we are like, we should get into government, we should get into a coalition, or whatever case it calls.
But let me ask you something, Makotsi, because if we look at what is currently happening, the only person that has been joining successful governments is Raila Odinga. Kalonzo did it once when he became the vice president during the 07 election. But other than that, we literally cannot pinpoint anyone else of that level, a presidential candidate who ended up joining the ruling party or the ruling government. So now, do you think, in absence of Raila, if Raila had retired, say, 2 elections ago, do you think we'd still be having these issues of BBI, handshake, broad-based government, NADCo, CG, 10-point agenda?
I think I've never thought about it, but thinking about it on my feet,
yes,
I think I agree with you. It might be a personality problem, because most of the people who have joined, or who Raila joined with politics back in the days when he was still a young man in Ford Kenya or whichever party was, most of them are retired, and some of them, may God rest their soul in peace, some of them are dead. So the continuous engagement of Raila in politics, I think it is a disservice to him and a disservice to the larger Kenyan population, because at the same time you find that he is always the number 2 in these elections, and in mature democracies, you may find, or you will find, when you are number 2 in an election, even the next election, you may not appear in the list of people who are being presented
as candidates.
Look at the US. Look at people like Hillary Clinton and all the others.
Akina Al Gore.
Yes, and it really took Trump a lot of effort to present himself as president. This when he was vying second time.
Yes.
So I think.
Actually, when he was vying third time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because he lost the second time, then third time he won.
Yes, and I think that is the way we should go, unless there is a compelling reason to present a candidate 2 or 3 times or 4 times. I think a candidate should be presented once, and give also other people chances.
To run.
Yes.
I'll ask this question again, but in a different way. So if we had Kalonzo Musyoka as the leader of official opposition, or rather official leader of opposition, would we still see him, presenting things like NADCo 10-point agenda to President Ruto or President Uhuru? Would we see the BBI handshake with President Uhuru? If we had Martha Karua in the same position as official leader of opposition, would we see the BBI handshake? Would we see NADCo? Would we see the 10-point agenda? If we had Moses Wetangula as leader of opposition, had he, not been the speaker, would we still be seeing these kinds of issues?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all, because these other people you've mentioned, Martha Karua, I have followed her since those days he was in Kanu. He was one of the people who walked out on Moi.
President Moi, yes.
Yes. She's a lady that I think one of the most principled politicians, and when she takes her position, she stands by her position to the very end. If it were the case, we could have seen Martha in Ruto's government. I'm very sure with the current challenges President Ruto is experiencing in the mountain, Martha can be an option for a cabinet secretary.
Right.
I'm very sure Kalonzo has stayed in the opposition for the longest time. I think he was in government when Kibaki, he was vice president of Kibaki.
Yes.
Since then, we've seen the 10 years of Uhuru. We never saw Kalonzo joining
the government.
We saw the handshake. The handshake between Uhuru and Raila. We never saw Kalonzo joining it. Maybe a speaker or foreign affairs minister.
Yeah.
There were attempts after 2022 to lure Kalonzo join, even abandon Raila. But he was very clear that, no, this is where I belong. I think this is where Kenyans placed me, and this is where I belong. Same case as Moses Wetangula. He has been in opposition after Kibaki government. He served as Bungoma senator very well. He served as minority leader for some time. We've not seen him literally crossing over. You see what you're talking about is literally crossing over.
After an election.
Yes, creating confusion. I think that confusion predominantly has existed in Raila's political history, or let me say that. So I don't think so, because even now, last week or this week, we are hearing rumors of Kalonzo, people trying to woo Kalonzo, but Kalonzo came out and said no. This is where I belong, and I think we want to form the next government. We don't want to be part of this government. So in the same case, people or politicians are given an olive, let me say an olive branch.
Yes.
I am very sure it is only Raila who has accepted this olive branch.
The reason I'm asking this is because, assuming in 2027 we don't see an active Baba, he says, guys, nimechoka bana. Let me go chill in Bondo or in Karen or wherever. But the point is, as far as active politics is concerned, mimi siko. The same way we saw the two late presidents, that is President Kibaki and President Moi do. Walienda ushago na wakatulia. If Raila does a similar stunt, and I'll call it a stunt, if he does that and goes back home and just chills, how would you see the politics of Kenya playing out after 2027?
I think it depends. It depends on who wins. Two scenarios. If the united opposition wins, I don't see Ruto reaching out to be prime minister, or maybe
he wouldn't want a handshake.
He wouldn't want a handshake. He has been president for 5 years.
Yes.
So if there is any position that
you can offer him,
yes, he's president and he can't be president.
Yeah.
But if the other case comes into existence, that we now have a two-term, God forbid.
Yes.
I don't think so. I don't think the current lot of politicians would stretch a hand to be in Ruto's government in 2027 moving forward.
Right.
Because they are having the same opportunity in this context, even to work with Ruto before even the 2027 election.
Yes.
Somebody like Kalonzo, he's being offered the deputy president position silently, but he's
for 2027.
Yes,
okay,
that's the bargain. Yes, so I wouldn't see them in that sense, because if they cannot be, somebody like Kalonzo, I think he has survived the longest in the political code. The others are, I'm not even Martha Karua. Yes, I think so. Yeah. Last time he was in government was during Kibaki's regime.
Yes,
I wouldn't see them in that sense actually stretching out.
Okay.
But in politics, there is no exception. We'll see how it plays out. But according to how they have manifested themselves in their character since they joined politics, I don't think so.
Before we ask the next question, hapa kuna Jeremiah Wabuti anasema great insights Makotsi. Then there's Cleo Malala. I don't know if this is Cleophas Malala, but amesema
my boss.
amesema great mind. All right, so keep on sending your shout outs on YouTube, on Radio Gen KE, that's on Twitter.
I want to take you back. Mungala had asked you about if Raila today decided to retire from politics, we will not see this the BBI thing. We are not going to see the NADCo thing. But now the question is, so far, looking at the previous elections that we've always had, Kenya, or let me say that the government is always consistently politicking. Yeah, immediately leo mtu amepewa kiti, is a president of the country. Then the following day, Kenyans are back at it again. Politics. They do not give governance that space. They do not give a space for work. So Kenyans have really suffered because of this. So why do you think we are like this? Is it because of this aspect of refuting elections, or why do you think?
I think I don't want us to view politics from a negative point of view, that we are always politicking. I think even in mature democracies, politics is constant. Right now, I'm just from the US, I think 3 weeks ago. And when you are in the morning shows, everybody is speaking about how Trump policies are going to affect the local American citizen, the local American businesses, trans foreign policy. That is still politicking. What affects Kenya is the negative politics that comes immediately after election. I think after elections, we spend like 1 or 2 years disputing the elections, trying to imagine that the person who is elected, either democratically or not democratically elected, that they would step aside in some sense, and we have another election, and we go to the negative side of demonstrations and disrupting activities, and this is now what affects our country. You find that very serious businesses, 1 year to the election, they close up, or they scale down, or they don't have any foresight of or planning for the next 3 years, because 1 year to election, it is so hot, and 2 years after the election, it is still so hot. So the problem is our negative way of expressing our politics, whereby even after election, we think we are still in the electioneering mood of trying to say October no election, I don't know, Ruto is not my president. There have been so many slogans after elections, when Uhuru was elected first time in 2013, second time 2017, even when Ruto was elected. I think that is what ails our politics. If after election we should be concentrating on, Ruto told us about the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. I don't know, 7-point plan or 8-point plan.
10-point plan.
Yes, we should be ticking as opposition. Yes, we should be ticking and saying he has implemented the Hustler Fund. But is it to the extent that he promised? And is there any better idea in terms of maybe the digital jobs he's telling us about, or Kazi Maju? Is the Kazi Maju he painted during the campaigns the same Kazi Maju Alfred Mutua and the rest are taking people to Saudi Arabia? I think that is the politics you should engage in, not the politics of demonstration and trying to overturn what the Electoral Commission has said and what the Supreme Court has endorsed.
Now, I'm going to ask you the question that is on the poster, and I'm almost certain that your answer is going to be no. But I'm still going to ask it anyway. Are we conducting mature politics in Kenya? If yes, maybe you can give us the reason why, and if no, maybe give us an overview of why not.
I would not expressly answer in one context. I can say it's a yes and no answer.
Okay.
It's a yes and no answer because yes, in the context that we are doing fairly well compared to our brothers and sisters in the African continent. When you look at our politics, I think we are one of the very few countries or states that slightly have issue-based politics. We can talk about the economy. We can talk about the huge bulge. We can talk about various aspects such as creation of jobs. And even to some extent, there are leaders who are elected based on their track record back as MCAs, MPs, senators, and governors. At the same time, I can say no. Let me just back up the yes.
Okay.
It is only this country that you will find the young people last year going on the street, not looking at their tribe or anything. They're looking at an issue of the finance bill, and they're saying we need this section about sanitary towels repealed. We need this section about the housing levy repealed. We need issues such as corruption sorted. So, in some sense, we are having a clear direction of mature politics.
Yes.
But that's to a little extent. To a large extent, I think we are still engulfed in the immature politics that is based on mostly tribe. And tribe and resources without any ideology. If you look at the Kenyan parliament, governors, senators, members of county assembly, most of them are either elected because they belong to the major ethnic tribe in their constituency boundary,
yes,
or they had some money to buy the position.
In a country like the US, where we have the president of the United States being, and we like using this word, he is the most powerful man on earth. How true that is, I don't know, but I'm assuming he is. He's the most powerful man on earth. That is a statement. But that man is still subjected to the constitution of his country, the laws in his country. He follows judicial, commandments and so on and so forth. When the court says this, the presidency has got to abide. They look for alternative ways to still achieve their agenda, but they will follow the rule of law. In most African countries, and I'll talk about Kenya because this is where I live, we see sometimes the judiciary and the laws and the commandments and the commands they give us and the rulings they give us to be suggestions. Because one time the court says this, but you see the government taking a completely different direction. Now, we have seen even political interference in the judiciary. In your opinion, do you think that translates to maturity in politics, or I don't know how you would call it? Because if you look at it, if we look at it from that perspective, I don't think we have matured enough to actually say, Justice Makotsi has said this and we have to follow it. Let's look for alternative ways of doing and achieving the same goal. But what Makotsi amesema stands. Do you consider that to be maturity?
Yes, and let me just answer in this context, in the context of the comparison between us and mature democracies like UK, the US. When I was in the US, I discovered something, that what ails us is culture. Our political culture, the political culture of the Kenyan people and the political culture of the US citizens or UK citizens. And culture is something that is developed over time, and it is very hard to shed off somebody's culture. We've had practices such as FGM and early marriages in some counties or some regions. Even the father or mother knows this is bad, but because of the culture that they have been brought up in, they have found a difficulty in changing or having a turnaround. So it takes time. And the way you said, the political culture of the people of the United States I think it is a culture that has been developed over time, and it is now, I'm not saying that they are like 100% perfect, but it is in a place where we need to develop ours, I think, in a more rapid way, because at the pace in which we are going, I think we'll be left behind if we have to catch up with the first world and the second world.
Uko tuko mbali sana, but yes. So let's try catching up with our neighbors like South Africa.
Exactly. Let me bring it into context of the African context.
Yes.
Let me not build my expectations
mbali sana.
like the South African political culture.
Yeah.
Do you know South Africans don't vote for members of parliament?
Okay, enlighten us.
They vote for parties.
Okay.
It is proportional representation. They vote for ANC or EFF or the DA. The DA has a list of people that believe in ANC and believe in the manifesto of ANC or EFF.
Right.
And when all is said and done, the president is elected. They don't elect the president; they elect the party. The president is elected, and they now go into proportional representation.
Okay.
How many votes did DA get? How many ANC? How many EFF? And they divide the house according to the proportion in which the votes were
cast. Yeah.
And that system works so well because now the members of parliament get to represent the manifesto of the party. You see? And that is their political culture, and they are trying to develop it, making it very strong, trying to chaperone it to a point that it's almost going to be perfect.
Okay.
I think in our context, the way you've said,
yes,
even in the actual sense of governance, and after somebody is elected, we do not have the political culture of accountability. And that's why you pointed out an example of the judiciary. In Uhuru's government, we had a cabinet secretary who said that court orders are just pieces of paper. In this government, we have seen cases where some very senior judicial officers are going to have meetings with the executive.
Yes.
And it's almost concluded that sometimes the judiciary is an extension of
the executive. Right.
And some would say that it is not about separation of power. It's about division of power. Division of labor. Between they're just picking it up from where the executive left. And the executive is picking up from where the legislature or the judiciary is. So it boils down to our political culture. Are we able to respect the 2010 constitution? Because clearly everything is in that constitution. That is the mother body of what should conduct our body politic. If we are electing leaders, are we electing leaders of integrity? Are we electing leaders with good track record? We've had incidences where we've had a very corrupt executive official, cabinet secretary, having very big scandals in the executive.
Right.
But when they go to their home county, they are elected as governors. So what does it speak to our political culture? I think we should have a deliberate effort to develop our political culture around ideology and around integrity. Yes.
Dr. Precious Wepuka amesema, there you go daktari, well articulated. She's clearly agreeing with you.
Thank you, Precious.
Yeah, but most of the time in our country, we talk over the 6-piece. Yeah, ukienda kwa ballot, piga 6-piece. So I'm just trying to think, like you're saying in South Africa, they do parties. They vote for parties. And I'm like, in our country, are we really mature enough? Like, imagine you've voted like all these people. They are going into parliament. They are going into this leadership. And somehow they are being bought. What happens to our country?
And that is why I think there's a political idea that is called a mass party.
A mass party.
MASS party, mass political party. Let me put it in that context. You see, that context works well. The South African context and the six-piece context works well when you have mass parties that stand. Mass party is almost two or three domineering parties, like maybe Republican and Democrats. In South Africa, we only have ANC, EFF. We've had Zuma's party trying to come up, and DA. Very few political parties. In Kenya, we had a mass party right from 1963. We had Kanwa's, the grand old mass party.
Chama cha mama na baba.
In Tanzania, we have CCM. And in a mass party that is disciplined, such as CCM, such as Communist Party of China, would have the party represent the interest of the people. So that when you are doing something fishy, the way President Zuma was doing something fishy in South Africa, the mass party is able to convene and even impeach the president. When they say you are no longer a member of our party, it means you are no longer the president of the republic.
They did the same to President Thabo Mbeki.
Yes, exactly. So I think the idea of a mass party that is driven by ideology is an idea that can work in the African context, in a context whereby we have different tribes, different ethnic groups. The problem with your six-piece is, I think some candidates would be endorsed because they have given the party leader money.
Yes.
Some would be endorsed because they are bringing a section of votes to the party. But they do not really stand with the ideals, the tenets, the manifesto of the party. Such that, in the sense that when they are now elected or they are in parliament, you will find them even let me say, even being bought by the president, who is in the party but does not stand with the ideals of the party, or being bought by the opposition, who are maybe ethnically driven to bring down the mass party. So first, our party should be our parties, the way we organize our political parties in Kenya, we should restructure them in a way that it should reflect ideology. And you cannot tell me, I think right now we are running into the excess of 50, 60, even 100 political parties. You cannot tell me there are 100 political ideologies in this single country. It means the parties are being formed by different reasons.
Yes. That's very true. Yeah, because if you look at going back to just South Africa, the way you've mentioned, we saw Thabo Mbeki being replaced as president because of whatever had happened in his presidency. We saw Jacob Zuma also facing similar problems. Now, first of all, I'm sure that particular kind of democracy has got its own challenges.
Yes, sure.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be having an opposition, right? Here in our country, what do you think is the one thing that if we turn around today, things can look good and they can look better, and perhaps we can get back on the track of a proper democracy in the way we conduct business as of today, 15th of August 2025?
I think we do not have to look any far. In as much as we're saying the United States, we are saying South Africa and what have you, I think we should reflect on the words of the late Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Daniel said that siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. Then when he was repealing Section 2A that now opened up the Kenyan democratic space to many political parties, he said that msiweke siasa zenu kwa msingi ya ukabila. Immediately after, he opened up the democratic space for many political parties. Many people never understood why the old man was holding on to one party system and only allowing KPU to some point and other small political parties just coming in to try and oppose him, like Ford in the initial stages before 92. It's because he understood the body politic of this republic. You can imagine if we are this tribal in 2025, how tribal were we in 1992 or or 1997.
Was it that bad?
It was that bad.
I was a child. I can't remember.
It was that bad. It was that bad because we had just come out of independence in 1963. You remember Jomo and Jaramogi fell out in 1969 because of Jaramogi felt that most of the Kenyan share is going to the Kikuyu elite. Then thereafter, Jomo died. The politics was organized around sidelining Moi from taking over, because some Kikuyu elite were thinking that this power belongs to us.
It was the birthright.
Yes, and Moi is a Kalenjin. And now when Moi came in, there was some dominance of Kalenjin trying to come up, and other tribes being sidelined, and they're also trying to come up, but within a context of the grand old party KANU. So immediately Moi opened up. Even Ford, the original Ford, could not exist. We had now Ford people, Ford Kenya, Ford Asili. And all this, if you look at this context, they were being Ford Kenya because of a certain ethnic group. Ford Asili, I think the Kisii region. Ford people, I don't know which region. So the way we organize our politics in August 2025,
yes,
I think to date, most of our top even 5 parties, even 10, are organized based on tribe. If we could change that, I think we would turn around. We have had very good MPs who know what is right to vote for. But because they come from a certain region in which their party is like domineering, they cannot stand up to some issues in parliament, because they're trying to protect their political space.
Now, because if you look at, and you've mentioned very rightly that if you look at the top 10 whatevers, you will find that they have that tribal connotation. Is it because they're also formed by tribal kingpins?
Yes, definitely. They are formed by tribal kingpins, and they try and let's say cover up
by having officials from other tribes.
Yes, but the people who make the ultimate decisions
is that kingpin.
And is that kingpin, and people who surround the kingpin, mostly from
the region he comes from or she comes from.
Okay, still at maturity. But the other day somebody said that the best space or place to be is in opposition, because opposition, you just wake up and say no, tumekatai. And again, looking at what is happening in the country right now, looking at the opposition leaders that we have so far, the likes of the former DP, we've had even the president saying that these people do not have an issue. Their opposition is not based on any issue. What they are saying is Ruto must go without anything on the table, especially for the people. When you hear such kind of statements, and when you look at the opposition, do you think we are at it really?
I think, and that is the challenge even we are experiencing about our politics. You see, even in the opposition, you will find that we are having challenges about opposition being held accountable, not even in the context of the one-term scenario that is going around. Even before, we've had people in opposition, and they're not able to be held accountable. And that's why you were asking me the question of somebody just waking up early morning, you see him in a Rambe house shaking a hand, and the next day our whole region is behind the current government. So we're having a problem of accountability even in opposition. And that goes a long way in telling how our political culture is. I am a believer of one term, a very strong advocate of one term. But when you ask me about why one term. I will tell you why one term. And I will tell you the alternative, my personal view. I'll not tell you the view of Wiper Party or DCP, because that party has party leaders. They have to share, and once they share, it is us to adopt and reshare or go to platforms and say what we stand for. I would tell you how my alternative view on, let's say, something like SHA or something like Hustler Fund or something like Kazi Maju. I think we should do more in that space of going beyond sloganeering and telling the people what we should actually, what they should expect just in case we are in government.
Yes,
I think that is the direction Kenya should head. It is not a bad direction, even when you are saying one term. In the backyard, you should be preparing on how to lead this country, because you never know. The one term can even be sooner than we think. Maybe. Then we fall into the hands of maybe leaders who don't have a clear plan of where to take this country. One credit I give to His Excellency William is he partly 30%, 40% of his campaign came from a background of ideology, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, bottom-up. It was an ideology that he was selling to the people, and the reasons why he's also having trouble is because of that ideology. People are not seeing the this translation from the campaign ideology to the executive where he is in. And that's why he's having problems with the finance bill, SHA, housing. People are not seeing the translation. So we should go beyond the sloganeering and have clear, simple manifesto that the common mwananchi is able to hold us accountable once you are elected.
The opposition, like you mentioned, we don't have accountability in the opposition. I believe that's what you've said a few sentences back. If we look at the opposition as it is constituted, number one, I feel like a huge gap was left when Raila left. Perhaps they were not prepared for an opposition that doesn't have Raila, and perhaps there's some kind of confusion, because even in the previous government, that is the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta, even when Raila did the handshake and we had BBI, the opposition was still with Baba somehow. But in this particular case, it's like Baba left the opposition, and now the opposition is like, we have been left without a father, hatujui what to do. Number one, is that true? Number two, where are they lacking in terms of being the dominant opposition that we should see? Number one, the absence of Baba. Number two, opposition ni kama hata hakuna clear leader who is in charge of the opposition right now.
I think I like that conversation because I remember in June of last year, there was an opposition led by Baba, official opposition, and there was something that came around, and there were young people trying to come up, trying to air alternative views. And somebody was saying that these guys, there's nowhere these guys are going without Raila's backing. There's no way you guys are going to the CBD having demos without Baba. Baba was Baba, was Alpha and Omega.
The enigma.
Yeah, the enigma. Yes. But as you are seeing, the opposition is developing more to be people-centered than political party or personality-centered. You would find that the current opposition would issue a statement about Albert Ojwang after young people in the social space, like 4 hours continuously, trying to hold the Deputy Inspector General or the IG accountable. That's when you see the opposition trying to come up. Previously, we were seeing Raila being the first, then
everyone else
follows.
Yeah.
And that now speaks to my question. I think it is high time for Raila to know that I think time is up. You cannot be a leader of all generations.
Yeah.
I think his leadership was very instrumental in bringing us to the democratic space in which we enjoy. I think it is high time now the young people and others take over from where he has left us.
Because I think they were so used to having Raila as their leader in opposition, that is, such that an absence of Raila ni kama watu hawajui sasa wafanye nini.
Yes, but the point is, even with Raila's absence, we are having less of the personality opposition politics, but more of people-centered, youth-centered opposition. Right now, I don't think a cabinet secretary would take away our billions and not worry about how young people will behave. Previously, we would worry about how Raila will issue a statement and mobilize people to impeach or people to hold you accountable. But right now, somebody would say that some of the cabinet secretaries that were replaced lost their position because young people came out and called them out. Yes.
Let's talk about these young people. They are partyless, they are leaderless, they are tribeless. Just how long can they be that like that and still succeed?
Not long. I'm a believer of leadership in any context, family setup, business setup, even in any context. You even here in the studio, I'm very sure there is somebody who leads and the other one like
follows
or
compliments.
Yes.
Right.
So the generation of Gen Zs and millennials that are saying we are leaderless, partyless, I think it is short-lived. That we can enjoy that leaderless, partyless in this context. But when you go into election, you will be expected to choose your leaders. You cannot say that you are leaderless and you are expected to choose your leader. So I think we should be organized. We should be organized around leaders who truly represent the interest of
the people,
the generation of Gen Zs. Yes, and it is not wrong to have a leader. Even if you go wrong in choosing the leader, the beauty is you have an opportunity to recall that leader. Let's say someone like Morara or Casmuel or whatever is chosen as the leader of Gen Zs, and he goes to bed with the government. The young people have an opportunity to recall and choose another one, and we must choose another one until we find the right one.
I agree.
Yes,
I agree.
I think we currently we are witnessing a shift or maybe a change in how the previous or these leaders we've seen for the longest in these political parties, in these leadership positions, they've offered themselves to give the Gen Z's leadership, to bring that role of leadership. And of course Gen Z's I think they are quite aware of that. They are quite aware, and so the question would be, how do you see the Gen Z's changing elections in our country?
I see them, it is too early to judge. You see, matters election are matters participation. And participation, to me, in the context, comes in two levels. Vying for political position and participation in terms of voting. For you to vote, you must first be 18 and above, of course. You must have an ID and you must register as a voter. That is the basic. I'm just asking myself, how many of these young people are registering as voters? Voter registration is a continuous process. And I think we can shout, we can tweet, we can write slogans on Facebook, Twitter, but if we do not register as voters as early as now, because it is continuous, even if I want to change my vote from
polling station,
yes, I can do it right now. And I think this is the best time to do it, because you can never know during that time when now they open it up and IBC starts its campaign and do whatever they do. I think it may find some young people in a context that maybe they may not be able to register as voters. You may be maybe working for an NGO in Turkana, and you are not able to choose your governor back at home in Trans Nzoia or Bungoma. So you end up registering as a voter in Turkana. Yes, you'll vote for the president, and I think the president alone, but you not be able to influence what the services your mother, your sister, who are the majority of the people who depend on you back at home. I think it is high time that the young people register as soon as now. The second part is participation. We can register, but the moment we do not participate by offering ourselves into these elective positions, we might end up finding ourselves electing people who do not really represent our interests. We are only good representatives of ourselves. That is my point. For example, if in the context, in the Kenyan context, let's not talk about presidents, let's talk about governors and members of parliament. If we are having people above the age of 50, 90% of them offering themselves as governors in the various counties, it means that we will have fairly old people being elected, because you're only elected because you present yourself as a candidate. So, and when we elect them as old people, maybe half of them or quarter of them will represent our interests.
Yeah.
There are good governors who are old and still push for youth policies and youth empowerment. But most of them, because of the disconnect of age, do not really understand the needs of the youth. So it means in the context of presenting ourselves, we should have young people vying for all these positions, right from MCA, MP, senator, governor, and what have you.
So you're telling them to start identifying, number one, their leaders as early as right now. Are you also urging them to join political parties or form their own political parties?
I am sure there are political parties that represent the interests of young people to a certain extent. And you see the issues about young people are common issues.
Yes.
And they are, whether you are in Wiper or ODM or DCP or any other party, and you are elected as a young person, I think the umbrella that brings them together is something called the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association.
Right.
And this is a body of young parliamentarians that tries to push for youth-friendly legislation, youth-friendly policies. When you have more members, right now I think they are having 40-something members, Senate and National Assembly. When you have more members as KYPA members, let's say out of the 300 MPs, we have like 150 or 200 as young people, I think would bring more accountability in matters youth, will bring more suggestions, legislation that impact positively on the young people. So it is not wrong for a young person to join ODM. It's not wrong for them to join Wiper. It is wrong for them to be elected on the platform of being young and they do not push for policies that are pro-youth.
Thank you so much. That is Alfred Makotsi. He's a youth leader and political analyst. Thank you so much for availing time on a Friday to come and have this conversation. We shall definitely invite you back so we can continue with this conversation. Talk about mature politics in Kenya.